mom gives you the dough and all of the ingredients needed to make a cake, and she told you, go towards the kitchen and make a cake for me. So when you go towards the kitchen, you'd have to go through a long process in order to make a cake. But just imagine that you have a magical oven, and in that oven you just put that ingredients, and that oven gives you the baked cake already made. I don't think so it can happen, but just imagine this. So, what actually that magical oven is, it is actually the function. So, what actually a function is? In coding language, a function is actually a structure that encapsulates lines of codes. So, when you call that function, that lines of codes will be executed. Let me just give you a very, very simple example of function. So, I'm here in the VS Code. For example, I just want to say like def 8 x y, and then I say return x x plus y. So I have just written out a very simple function. Let me just explain each and every part of this function. So actually the def keyword over here is used to tell the compiler that that the code over here after this keyword will be a function. Okay, then we have the word aid, aid, which is a name of the function. Okay, and you can add your own name to it. I don't know your name. You can, but you can tell me in the comment section below. So I will include it in the next program. So you can give it every name. Okay. Then the xy in the parentheses, it is actually the parameters of this function. So, and here's another one, arguments. So people are confused in the parameter and the arguments. So I'm going to tell you a little bit later that what is the real difference between an argument and a parameter. Okay. Then we have the colon, and after the colon we have the return x plus y. So what actually the return is, the return is actually says that you should give me the output after performing any operation that is in the function. For example, I have given you the example of the magical oven in the beginning of the video. So the magical oven is giving you a ready-made baked cake. So what is that? The baked cake is actually the return of the magical oven. So here the function is returning the x plus y. It is taking two numbers as a parameters over here, and it is giving you the addition of both. So how can you call a function? Let me just tell you this. For example, if I say like aid, for example, I just in order to call that function, in order to call that function, you have to write the name of that function. For example, aid, and is there any argument in the function? Yes, there are parameters x and y parameter. So you have to say 5 and 6. These are the two parameters. You don't have to put plus sign over here because it doesn't accept the plus sign, because you have to just give the arguments to it. So now what are the argument and parameter? You can get the difference over here. X and y over here are just variables that is storing any input that is given to the function in that x and y variables. For example, and the 5 and the 6 are the arguments that are the real values that is given to the function, and it is passed to the function. So the 5 and the 6 is passed, the 5 is passed to the x and the 6 is passed to the y. Okay, that's so simple. And what is then it is doing? It is taking the x, which is 5, and plus, and it is doing the 6 addition with the x, and it is returning that number, whatever the result is. So whatever the result is, 5 plus x is 11, and it will return it the 11, and it will print out. Simple. So here it is. Now another real concept is the function definition and declaration. So what's the actual difference between the declaration and definition? Most of people are also confused in this. So let me just explain in a very, very simple way. Over here you have just seen the def. 8, x, and y, which is the parameters. So actually, the first line over here is the declaration of the function. From here, you can see that a function is declared. So what's the definition? The definition after the colon, whatever comes is actually the body of the function, and that body means that you are defining the function. So what is inside this function is called the body of the function. So and the body of the function with the declaration of the function is called the definition of the function. So in many languages like C++, etc., you can declare a function and then define it separately. But in Python case, it's not. So now let me just define the very simple types of functions: the built-in function, the user-defined function, and the lambda function. There are also other types of functions, but to make the video shorter, I'm gonna just define these three in a very brief language. So actually, what are the built-in functions? The built-in function means that already built. Someone has already built it for you. So you just have to uh, call that function. For example, if I just say like the print. So the print is actually taking the arguments, whatever you want to print in that function, and it is taking that argument and printing it. For example, you have the built-in functions like the print. You have also other built-in functions like the input, etc. You want to just put anything over here which will take it as an argument and it will store in that parameters. So this was just the built-in function. So now the user-defined function. Actually, the user-defined function is this. Whatever you want to use it, you just have to define that function according to your needs. So according to your needs, you can define it. Okay. So this is a user-built function. This is a user-defined function. Then another type is the lambda function. Okay, so what actually a lambda function? Lambda function is not is not like a conventional function where you have to just put the keyword def and define the name and give the parameters. No, no, no. It's not like that. Lambda function has a simply a structure like lambda and any input x, for example, and then you will have to give the expression over here. Okay, any expression you want. For example, x square, x multiply, x divided by something, whatever you want to do. And it's just taking the input. For example, I just want to give you a very simple example like 8 is equal to, it is lambda, and then you just want to give it two inputs like x, y, and then colon, and after that you will have to give the expressions. Okay, so whatever that expression is, for example, x multiply with y, this is the expression, and then you just want to call that function. For example, the 8 and give it the parameter, give it the arguments. So 7 and so give it any arguments like 7 and 6. Okay. If you want to give me more detail about the lambda functions, you can tell me in the comment section below and I will upload a new video on that. So this was all about the functions and its types and a little bit of structure of that. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel in order to be notified for every new video. Thank you and have a nice day.